With us right now, Mark Butler. Mark, you are the founder and CEO of letsdothebooks.com. I love having smart money people on the show, particularly if you can help our audience. Mark, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm thrilled to be here. Thanks, Josh.
Absolutely. All right. So give us a high-level overview. I don't think it's very complicated. What is Let's Do the Books?
No, you're right. It's not very complicated. Let's Do the Books is a bookkeeping service that supports online business owners, life coaches, course creators, pretty much at all income levels, whether they're just getting started in their business or whether they're generating seven figures. We like to babysit the accounting and the cash flow for those businesses so they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So how does it work? And how do people engage with you? And what makes you different from other bookkeeping services out there?
I think that one of the biggest things that makes me different as the founder of this bookkeeping service is that I don't have any formal background in accounting. I sort of fell into being this person about 7 years ago. I was working at a company called You Need a Budget. Lots of people call it YNAB. It's personal budgeting software.
Yep.
Yeah. So YNAB was started by one of my best friends in the world. And so there came a point in my life where I needed a job and I went to work for him. I started out as his staff writer, but then because I'd owned my own businesses and kind of struggled with the money piece, once I figured out his philosophy of managing money, I asked him if he would let me start a sort of a consultancy within his customer base to help them implement good money management principles in their business. Well, the first person who ever hired me was a life coach. And I didn't even really know what a life coach was at the time, but she hired me and then she started introducing me to others. And I was coaching them on their budgeting and on their finances. And somewhere along the line, someone said, "Hey, you're already dealing with everything relating to my money. Can you just be my bookkeeper?" And I said, "Sure, I don't really know what that involves, but I'll give it a shot." And that really became the start of people calling me their bookkeeper. And then within about a year, people were starting to call me their CFO. And so here I was as a bookkeeper and a CFO for online businesses, which eventually grew and evolved to the point where that's how I became known within this corner of the world. And that's been the case ever since about late 2014.
Wow. Here's what I love. So you can go to your website right now, letsdothebooks.com. I was just kind of playing around. I love that you've got your pricing right up front and it's a sliding scale. So currently, as of when I'm recording this, might be different by the time you look at it. But if your business is generating $2,000 a month, so again, you're just really earlier stage, freelance, maybe part-time, your fee is $60. That's it. And now you've got, what do you get with that?
What you get with that is that we set you up in our bookkeeping system. So access to the various bank accounts, credit cards, Stripe, PayPal, whatever you might be using. And then somewhere between weekly and monthly, we'll pull all the transactions from your business into our accounting software, categorize everything to the best of our ability, send you an email that says, "Hey, we have a question about these few transactions that we weren't totally sure of." You take 2 minutes and reply and let us know what was what. And then we finalize the bookkeeping for the month and then you're up to date. So then whenever you need a financial statement, whether it's a profit and loss statement or a balance sheet for your tax pro, you've got that on demand. We take care of it.
That's really cool. And I was pretty surprised. So I was just kind of going through your FAQs. And one thing that it says here is am I going to need to pay for bookkeeping software? And you say that QuickBooks may be overkill. That's surprising because I agree. It's QuickBooks, man. I've been using it for the past couple of years, and it's a frustrating, very big platform. If you don't need all of those things, and it's sometimes depending on what's going on, it's not cheap. It's $60. We pay $60 just for the software.
Right. So that was one of my once I got into this world and I started to sort of look at the available platforms, I started to use QuickBooks, or I tinkered with QuickBooks, and I realized, wow, I see how powerful this tool is, how robust this tool is. But for my target market, for the people that I'm trying to serve, where they have money coming into their business, they have money going out of their business, they don't tend to have big teams, They don't tend to have tons of payroll requirements. They don't need a big, robust accounting system. They need something to keep track of the money coming in and the money going out. And it turns out that you need a budget, although it's personal finance software, is a very nice tool for online businesses that run online, don't carry inventory.
Right.
YNAB is a great little tool for it. So it allows us to have really nice streamlined systems, which is why we can do great bookkeeping for the same amount of money that you would pay just for a tool like QuickBooks or for a tool like Xero.
Yeah. Okay. I like this. So this is pretty cool. I'm excited for this because I think here's the bottom line, right? If you are a coach, freelancer, like you're out doing work, you're selling digital products, you're a service provider, and you are not first of all, if you're managing and doing your own books, I hate doing my books. Like the reconciling every month. And it's just like, it's one thing I just do not want to do. Like, I want to make sure that it's done. I always want to have up-to-date, clean books, of course. Right. But it's just like, man, if there's one thing you outsource pretty quickly, please let it be your bookkeeping. And what's nice is that you have, because I think a lot of times, and a lot of people I've talked to when it comes to bookkeeping services, it's usually a minimum $200. I mean, that's about the cheapest that I've heard if you're in business for yourself. Otherwise, it kind of doesn't make sense for a bookkeeping agency to do it. They're like, if we're charging you under $200, it's not worth our time. But you found a way to do that.
Yeah, we have nice systems, thanks to the software we use, and thanks to just sort of our process orientation. We have nice systems that let us make a nice profit on really reasonably priced bookkeeping services. Now, are we insanely profitable on a $30, $40 per month bookkeeping client? No, but we actually I've had my bookkeeping team check in on this periodically, and I say, look, are we losing money on a $40 client, for example? Mm-hmm. And my senior bookkeeper will say, you know what, no, we're not losing money on that client. And so we love doing that.
Yes.
Because what we've noticed is that most of our clients grow. And so they work their way up that sliding scale. But as they work their way up the sliding scale, they're excited about their growth. It's almost like I've actually had clients say to me before, Josh, oh, I'm at your $200 level now. It's so exciting. So they're so excited to be paying me the maximum that my sliding scale requires.
Yeah.
Because it means that they've grown in their business. So we like to be aligned with our clients that way.
And that's so I have many questions here. First off, it's like, how do we partner? Because I think this is brilliant. I love it because, when you can get in and it's almost like you're willing to work at cost as an investment in that relationship. So, and if you can pull it off without losing too much money, think about this, to everybody who's a business owner listening to us, is there a way you can adapt this model that you can start investing in the relationship? And I'm not just talking about, hey, follow me on social media, but how can you actually start working together? And again, you're going to have to systematize some stuff and have really great processes and, outsource intelligently and so forth. But what are ways that you can get in and build relationships early with more people, be more accessible than anybody else in your marketplace? And Mark, that's what it sounds like you've done. I love it. Like, how did you come up with this idea?
The idea for the sliding scale?
Yeah.
It came from the fact that I noticed that when I was onboarding new clients, this is this is years ago. I was noticing that as I was onboarding clients to my bookkeeping service, many of them had pretty big messes in their finances. And I had no judgment of that. I have no criticism of that. That was me when I was, before I had a bookkeeping business. But I just kept thinking to myself, I wish I could get to these people earlier so that they could have it tidy from day one and never have to have the anxiety of messy financials and wondering whether they've done it wrong and wonder whether they're going to be in trouble. I kept thinking, how could I meet them earlier in their journey? And then one day, I think I was reconciling some accounts for one of my CFO clients, and I noticed their merchant fees. And I thought, oh, no one really feels friction about the fact that they pay Stripe 3%. It's just sort of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I wonder if there's a model where I could basically charge for bookkeeping the way Stripe charges for its service.
Mm.
And I thought maybe I could do this sliding scale where it's got a minimum at $30 a month, but then and it makes it, by the way, from a sales perspective, it makes it really easy because then I can say, it's like PayPal or Stripe. You basically just pay us 3% the way you pay them 3%. But the difference between us and Stripe is that we cap out at 200 a month. So if you make 50 grand in a month,
Mm-hmm.
your bookkeeping fee is still 200. That was a really easy story to tell.
Mm.
And it resonated with people. Almost every time someone is introduced to Let's Do the Books, the sliding scale pricing is one of the first things that they mention.
Yeah. Yeah. Will YNAB really do the job that most business owners use? And I guess my second part of that question, is it going to give me everything that my tax strategist or my tax accountant needs for taxes?
Yeah, those are the right questions. So because of the way we work and because we're so systematic, we're actually quite niche, meaning when someone wants to work with us, we actually take them through an application process, not in the sense that we're trying to decide whether we want to work with them. We want to work with everyone. We take them through an application process that ensures that they fit our model so that we can actually deliver great service. So if someone sells physical products, unfortunately, that's sort of an instant, sorry, we can't help you. We don't do physical products. If someone has their business and personal transactions mixed, sorry, we can't work with you. We've got to have your business and your personal separated from each other. So we have this series of questions we ask people so that we can confidently say, yes, we're going to do great work for you. Now, as to whether or not YNAB produces what your tax preparer needs, not by itself. So part of our systems is a spreadsheet that we use. We have one for every one of our clients where we export the data from YNAB, import it into the spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet is the profit and loss statement and the balance sheet. And that actually works great. People are always surprised that it works great, but it works great. It lets us share that sheet with the tax pro or give them a PDF if they want a PDF, and then we're good to go. So for the right client whose business is simple in the accounting sense, meaning not 1,000 bank accounts and not a big mix of personal and business, no physical products. If the business owner fits the model, then we can give great service.
Yeah. Tell me about like how growth has been for you. Like what have you experienced in terms of like, now being at the head of this company, like how is adoption, how are you seeing, traction with customers? Where do you get new customers from? Like how has that been for you?
Yeah, Let's Do the Books has done no advertising yet. It grows through word of mouth exclusively. And so we just see this steady trickle of new clients, one here, two there, as people say, they're in their mastermind groups or they're in their Facebook groups that they're part of as a business owner. They're talking to their peers and they're saying, I got to figure out the money thing. I got to figure out the bookkeeping thing. Do you know anybody? And then their friends and peers and business coaches send us a lot of business. Their business coach says, you got to check out Let's Do the Books. They have this interesting sliding scale pricing and they have really nice systems. If there are any bookkeepers in the audience, I'll say, look, one of the reasons your clients might get frustrated with you and switch over to me is that we are better at communication. So we answer email. You've got an inbox you can send a message to, and you're going to get a reply. We're happy to jump on a call with our clients if there's a messy piece or like there's something that needs to be dealt with. We're not going to try to keep you at arm's length. We'll say, let's jump on a quick Zoom call and get you sorted out. So word of mouth has done the job, and I think we'll continue to. As you know, the more customers you have, the more referrals you get if you're doing a good job for those customers. So we're starting to see some acceleration over time as the number of customers grows. They're giving us more referrals, which gets us more customers, which gets us more referrals. So that's kind of the strategy.
I mean, aside from someone that has physical products, can you think of any downsides where like, yeah, we probably wouldn't be a good fit for this, or, yes, this is probably where you might want to, have more of a traditional bookkeeping service. Can you think of any instances where who would be a bad client? Who would be a bad client referral for you?
What's funny is a lot of it is about client mindset, which, we have some clients where my team will send me a message and say, hey, look, we're really trying to give Jane Doe, we're trying to give her great service, but we can't get her to reply to us. She's not answering our emails. Or we've tried to work with her to separate her business accounts from her personal accounts. So there's nice, clean, there's clarity between business and personal. And she's not been engaging with us on that. And we have to have a client who is a full participant in the relationship. So that's one big one. The only other scenario where my team has brought to my attention, like, hey, we might have to revisit this, is if we're working with a business that has literal, and I mean this literally, thousands of small transactions per month, that can sometimes get a little bit unwieldy in our system or any book. I've talked with other bookkeepers. That can get unwieldy in any bookkeeper system.
Yeah.
So
like if they're selling like little $2.99 things or something like that.
If a
like
client
a
has
gazillion customers,
they have a $5.79 thing, and then they have a $8.94 thing, and they do that 1,000 or a couple thousand times a month, it gets a little bit unwieldy and we may not be a good fit for that person. But if a person has their 2 or 3 main offerings, and within those 2 or 3 main offerings, not more than a couple price points or payment options available for those 2 or 3 options, it's a breeze. We can take great care of them. We can give them nice reporting on here's where your money came from exactly, which can be an interesting thing. I think this is changing now, but lots of bookkeepers aren't super well adapted to online business. So they struggle to deal with revenue categorization because they don't do great with PayPal or Stripe. We have great systems for PayPal and Stripe that allow us to tell our clients, product A made this many dollars last month, product B made this many dollars. We can split it out in a lot more detail thanks to our system. So if a person is relatively simple, if they have just a few offerings at just a couple different price points, and if they'll reply to our emails and engage with us, we're going to do great work for them.
Yeah. I like that. It also looks like that you pretty much cap out at $200. Is that real? I mean, that is, if someone's doing like 6 figures a month, let's say that, they got, cause it's not hard to do that. If you've got big clients, right? Big high ticket clients and, the situation that we've put ourselves in, it's, you just deal with bigger numbers because of the caliber of work that you do.
Yep.
But that would be still appropriate.
Yeah, the team brings that up to me sometimes too, and they say, "Hey, we've got clients now making 20,000 and 30,000 and 50,000 a month. Is it still appropriate to just cap them out at 200?" And by the time your audience listens to this, you may see that upper bound of that sliding scale go up. But we like the fact that our clients know what they are getting. Meaning, we like the fact that they know. Yeah, I had a $30,000 month, but my bookkeeping was still 200. The thing that really allows us to do that is our system and our client's participation. So as long as the client is still meeting the same criteria that made them a good client when they were making 10,000 a month, we don't need to sort of penalize them for their growth as long as their business is as nice and simple as it was when they were making 10,000 a month. It's not more work for us to serve a $100,000 per month client than it is for us to serve a $10,000 per month client, as long as they fit that system. Now, I will say, Josh, that we've experienced sometimes when clients get into those $50,000, $100,000 months, their overall sort of accounting and HR needs change. They have employees or more employees. They accounts receivable. They start to evolve and become more complex in their needs. And then that's where sometimes we do have to just graduate clients and say, your business is doing amazing. It's becoming a little bit more complex. We're going to move you to a service provider. We're going to encourage you to go to a service provider that's built for that complexity. But other than that, no, we don't.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, think about it. I mean, the average, the average business owner, is probably not going to get there. I mean, if we're being realistic, particularly if they're working as mostly like a freelancer, kind of more
That's right.
independent, they're probably not going to get to $80,000 a month. And that's okay, because you can have a great lifestyle business, and do under $10,000 a month.
That's
And
right.
this would, for rather than pay $400 to $800 a month, which I've seen for bookkeeping, this is just, it's right sizing. Okay, Mark, this is really cool. Obviously, I've been kind of geeking out on this. I don't get this excited about products very often. So let's do thebooks.com. Great service, great pricing, great model. I love it. You're the founder and CEO. Anything else that you'd recommend when people go to the website?
No, just poke around, read the FAQ, read the services page, see if you think it's a good fit for you. If you do think it's a good fit for you, then you can there'll be a way to send a contact form in so you can get in touch with us and tell us that you want service, or you can just go ahead and sign up for the service, because we just have people make a $1 deposit to start the service. Then you'll hear from our bookkeeping team to say, welcome to the service. Let's make sure we're a good fit, and then let's get you onboarded. So we try to make that like a nice, smooth, soft landing from people once they know that they're excited to work with us.
That's fantastic. All right. Mark Butler, founder, CEO of Let's Do the Books, on the web at letsdothebooks.com. Thanks so much, Mark.
Thank you very much, Josh.